And welcome to the Glacially Musical Pouredcast. It is beer, metal, and swearing. Thank you for joining us for a very special low energy episode based on a band almost no one has heard of. Metallicores or something along those lines. I'm not sure. Anywho, of course, I am Nik Cameron of Glacially Musical, and I am joined by my good friend, a man who is so dapper, so awesome, and super Keefy Chowders. How we doing today, buddy?
I love me some chowder. I lived in Boston for 10, 11 years. I love some clam chowder.
Wow, if there's anything I could ever get you to say just without even trying, it's I lived in Boston.
Yeah, right.
Hey, oh, hey, I lived in Boston. I'm
That's
from Brooklyn.
that's a New York. I'm from the Bronx. I lived in Brooklyn. I spent a decade plus in New England.
I'm sorry, Tony
Lucky my
Vaselli.
accent is not completely destroyed. I am also a little low energy today, but don't let the low energy fool you. We are excited to be here to talk about Metallica 72 seasons. It's happy Metallica weekend. Metallica Day was yesterday. Metallica Life is every day. Nik has all his interesting Metallica vinyl behind him. None of the original five that I would consider are the best.
No
So
classics, no
no
classics.
classics. And I wonder if that's not a foretelling, a
Maybe I'm
harbinger of
making a
his
statement.
review.
You're
He
gonna
might
have
be.
to wait to find out. But if you look over here, I got the Death Magnetic, which I thought was a return to form. Over here, I got the S&M Deuce, which is a return to form from the S&Ms because the first one was crap. Right here, I got Beyond Magnetic, which I just happened to purchase about 6 months ago. Through the Never, the live album, which was the first like standalone live album they ever really released. I don't count the S&Ms because they were just some odd little business.
Binge and Purge, no? I mean, that's a whole live
That's
album.
not a standalone.
Okay.
That's a boxed
Nomenclature.
set.
We always argue about it.
We will continue to argue about the nomenclature. We're going to fight about double albums here in about 10 minutes. So get ready for that.
Oh no.
And then, of course, I've got Load. The reason why I have Load is the first Metallica record that I purchased um, as you know in real time as it came out. I was there day one. My ex-wife actually had a copy of it that she won from KC95 on CD, and she had it 2 days before it was ever released. And in my hands, I held 2, 3, 4 years ago, I held in my hand a copy of Load, original pressing Electro vinyl for $25. And I went, $25, get the hell out of here with that. Wow, poor choices were made by Nik that day. Actually, all the times I came across it because it was there for a while. But anyway, if you are here for Metallica, thank you very much. We have several episodes based on Metallica. We did a 4-part series over the quarterly business for the Vinyl Club 2022 to 3 because it bled. We have done several episodes on the greatest heavy metal band in the world. Let's just call it what it is. They are heavy metal, Led Zeppelin. It's anyway. So how we do this is we greet, we beer, we vinyl, we shirt, we news. We're gonna skip the news. The news is gonna be all Metallica from this week and the past couple of weeks. So no real news. But this is a bonus episode this week, so you already got something. I just want to get drunk. I'm rocking Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA, a whopping 8.5%. Finger fudge pour down the middle. Let me get the pint glass out because this feels like I am rocking all the blues attire.
It is playoff season. The
No,
Knicks
it is
lost.
not.
The
I'm pretty
Rangers
sure.
is
I'm pretty sure there's no playoffs this year. The Blues aren't
for the
in them.
Blues. No,
So,
well, the Rangers lost their last game of the year, but I believe they're in.
hey,
They lost.
thank you very much for trading a Sammy Blay back. I don't know if you're aware, but Vladimir Tarasenko, the vaunted sniper,
Mm,
has significantly less goals with New York as Sammy Blay has with St. Louis.
yeah, I know. Um, it's okay.
It's
Um,
awesome.
I'm always muted when it comes to Rangers and Knicks. I love hockey,
You're
right?
not muted when it comes to this, Nick.
Hey, I'm
Ooh.
totally not muted when it comes to that, Nik. I wish I'm sure he wishes I was. But and by the way, folks, just as a little aside, anybody who notices Nik and I giving each other the business, as the referee once said in the NFL, he's 15 yards for giving them the business.
No way,
Nik and
really.
I give us, yeah, it happened once. Nik and I give each other the business out of love, and there's no animosity. I say harsh things because I'm Keefy, and that's what I do. People who know and love me are also flummoxed and exasperated by me at all times. So
I refer to myself personally as I am frustratingly brilliant.
you are.
So I'm sorry for everything that I'm gonna say.
If Nik was a beer, like Nik Cameron, frustratingly brilliant. That would be your tagline. It's absolutely true.
Oh, completely true. My wife,
So,
when I told my wife that, because I came up with it about 3 weeks ago, and she was like, "My God, that is who you are. You are frustratingly brilliant."
it really is.
Because I'm not to talk about myself too much, because there's Metallica,
But we
but
do.
I'm a pretty smart guy, and I'll leave it at that. However, one of the things that people don't realize about those of us that are in that range, we make the stupidest mistakes. So
Mistakes will be made. That is what happens. It's time for a beer check from Keefy. I am going to have a beer Nik has had many times on the podcast, but I have not had. It's the Boatswain American IPA from Trader Joe's. Boatswain? Learn how to
The
pronounce
word
stuff,
is
America.
spelled boatswain, but it's pronounced bosun. It is an outmoded naval rank. However, the people at Trader Joe's here don't realize that.
I guess not. Or in Morovia, California. I'm going to drink this out of my not so clean, I guess, Lost Coast Brewery pint glass. I should get some Lost Coast beers.
Don't worry, there's plenty of booze in there. It's going to get rid of all the bacteria.
That's also true. Finger-fudge pour. I'll let that settle. We'll explain the finger-fudge pour another time. Cheers, my friend. Cheers. Happy Metallica. Cheers to Metallica, even though James is sober.
He is sober. Good. We are not.
Oh, we don't have to be. He drank all the drinks, so we can also.
Yeah, he's like Keith Richards, man. He took all the drugs. He's over.
We have to wait till Keith Richards dies.
Grind him up and smoke your ashes.
Smoke your ashes so we can all get high again.
Yep, that's exactly what
I was. The only original joke Dennis Leary ever had, but it was really great. So
I'm gonna throw out a quick vinyl check. Gonna watch Keefy squirm on this one because this is gonna get to the hackles, the hackles of Keefy's heart.
The hackles of Chackles.
Derrek and the Dominos. This is an album featuring noted jackass and racist Eric Clapton, and the greatest slide player of all time, Duane Allman. If you've ever seen Goodfellas, you've heard this record. You have heard the creme de la creme, the song. Eric Clapton, if he had died the week after he recorded this and it was released as a single, he would have been considered a legend already. He'd only been recording at that point in time for 6 years? Just to give you an idea of how great this record is. This record is I bought a copy for my kid from Canada, and I went, shit, why don't I have one? So I came across it. I got it for $15 at one of our local record shops we go to a lot, Planet Score Records in Maplewood, Missouri. We do that after grocery shopping. If you go to the record store with frozen groceries in your car, you spend less time in the store and spend less money.
Good philosophy. Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about EC. He was a former hero of mine. I saw him in concert. He's an incredible guitar player. He's a horrible person. Derrek and the Dominos is an absolute mistake of wonderfulness, like just an accidental, incredible record. And really, if you want to really,
it is the penicillin of blues rock.
Yeah, it is. It truly, it really set the bar.
Get the joke? I mean,
yeah, I did. Okay. And it's so much more. It's too bad that he's involved because I would love to do an episode on it. It's a great record. I think he did it on DMA. It's a great record.
No. We've done no Eric Clapton of anything.
The best part of the song, beside the guitar playing, is Carl Radle's piano at the piano.
Whenever I hear that, it is so indelibly linked.
I see the shot up pink Cadillac in Goodfellas every time since 1990.
and and the meat truck and the garbage. I
I know,
mean,
yeah.
oh,
For months, bodies were showing up everywhere. Anybody connected to the robbery, but I knew I was safe because Jimmy, I had money coming in with Jimmy from the Pittsburgh drug deals. Anyway, with Jimmy and Tommy.
what a great movie.
Rip Ray Liotta also, and Scorsese movies forever. Maybe we'll do a Scorsese soundtrack episode.
Oh,
I love Scorsese so much, bro.
I would be in. Okay, next Chaser.
Oh, I don't know about the next Chaser. I have some plans for the next couple of Chasers.
Oh, if you got plans, you got plans.
Because
All right, so
the Keefy's big vinyl score has to happen, and I want to have another guest come on. So, but yeah, we should do one, and I want to buy some of these soundtracks and then do them. Like I'm gonna play my hand, show that I want to buy some of these that I don't already have.
You got a vinyl check for us this week?
I do have a vinyl check. Let's move it along, Keefy. I don't feel too good. I'm gonna need you to steer a little bit, my friend.
I don't feel good either, and I just want to talk.
I have much to say on 72 Seasons. But anyway, here's a record I've talked about a lot, and I have checked other places. This is now my second copy. I was missing this on vinyl so badly, I had to buy it again because it's back east. But I may not have checked it with you, but I've had it on one of my shows. This is my favorite hardcore band of all time. This is my favorite hardcore record of all time, in the world. Gorilla Biscuits, Start Today. If you love hardcore punk from New York City from 1980 whatever to 1989, this is essential listening. This is positive PMA hardcore, and it's good for your soul. I'm gonna just this is on Revelation Records, still in business. This is a reissue of the original vinyl. Beautifully done, just like it used to be. I never had it on vinyl. I had a cassette with one of the Gorilla Biscuits logo guys on the back. This is the Confused guy. They also have a beefy hardcore gorilla guy you sometimes see.
Beefy, the nerdcore rapper, or a different Beefy?
A different Beefy. But this gorgeous guy here, look at this. First of all, we got a beautiful insert with the thank yous, and I think the lyrics. Hey-o.
Ooh.
Look at that. And I guess a poster on the back. This might be frameable for me. I don't know. But that's pretty cool. I don't think you can appreciate it here, but pretty cool. And then the piece that is already in the mylar from Revelation Records. So normalize the mylar, even though I own a whole sheet of mylar sheets.
I'm running low. I am oh, that's a gorgeous. That is, I hate yellow, but sometimes yellow just works.
Sometimes, just like the man in the yellow hat, you need yellow. And Curious George reference. So yeah, man, this is Revelation Records. Gorilla Biscuits, Start Today, a masterpiece of hardcore punk.
For me, New York hardcore begins and ends with the Beastie Boys.
Okay. Anyway.
I love contrarian opinions.
As we finished last week with this same Nik, just loves to just be different, man. He's just a different breed.
Oh, I totally am.
We love you for
I mean, I'm legitimately.
We're gonna do a run of like Agnostic Front just to get you. We're sick of it all.
I've seen him in concert.
We won't do Cro-Mags, but we'll do Sick of It All.
I reviewed one of their records.
Agnostic Front. Their last one was great.
I don't remember what it was called, but I think back to my reviews, and if it wasn't something special, like something that I really cared about or bought, I've just forgotten. Because if you look at the old Glacially musical blog, where I'm also posting these, I did personally about 2,000 articles. And my brain cannot, I don't have the space anymore to remember, but I know I did Agnostic Front, and I saw them in.
We might do a hardcore run at some point.
I saw them in 92. My friend Steve Bouchard's band Crucible was opening for them, which actually was the second show I ever went to.
Oh shit!
And somewhere I've got that was at Metal's Edge on South Broadway in St. Louis.
That's a cool sounding place.
It no longer exists, but there's some cool stuff down in St. Louis now.
I learned something about St. Louis I want to share with you that I learned today.
All right.
Today years old.
Let's see if I know it.
What is St. Louis's northeast sister city? Does Nik know?
No. I can't even tell you the name of the Japanese sister city. We have one of those, and we've also got a southern one.
The fact that you don't know the Japanese one is a shocker. Actually.
It is surprising. I know.
Surprising. Bangor, Maine is the sister city.
Bangor, Maine.
Yeah. Bangor, Maine. because Bangor, Maine makes their pizza apparently as bad as St. Louis on purpose. That is insane. That's how it
You've
was
never
described
had
to
our
me.
pizza. How can you even say that?
Unleavened dough, crispy thin dough that's not
Okay, look, I
risen
have
like
two
Jesus.
friends. I have two friends from, as I would call them, outlanders that are not from here. One came here and went back. One was going to move here but didn't. One loves the St. Louis style pizza. One hates it. Okay, one's from Detroit. One's from Green Bay. Which one hates it?
Well, Green Bay doesn't. Yeah, pizza's not their thing
Correct.
either.
Green Bay hates it.
Yeah, Green Bay. Things to do when I go to St. Louis in about 6 months will be maybe less than 6 months actually. Will be try the pizza, eat some steaks, go record shopping with Nick and daughter and wife maybe. We'll see.
Wife will not go. No. She'll be like, buy me something nice. That's where
Does
that's
she
gonna
know that
go.
she's like the topic of conversation on this
Yes, she
podcast
does. I
sometimes?
mean, she knows how great she is. I mean, it's
Okay.
awesome. We actually had
It's
a
all
really
love. It's all love. There's no
no, don't ever reference that song.
no, not that's I don't know what that
Oh,
song. What song?
Rockstar Supernova.
Oh, I don't know
Oh,
that
we
shit.
Duncan and I do. I loved that
Oh
show. Duncan and
God.
I did an episode on that album recently.
I mean, it's the
Oh,
show that injured Jason Newsted beyond repair, so I don't love that show.
you know what? I thought that was going to be
400, 400 million shows with Metallica never had a problem. One show with Rockstar Supernova and the head falls off his stack and almost kills him.
I really thought that album was going to be great.
How about Damnocracy?
Did they actually make an album?
One song.
Oh God. Yeah, I watched that show too. Anyway, Metallica, not these other guys. Although Jason
Do we have it? No news. I mean,
no news.
Before we begin, and I'm gonna let you, like I said, steer. I want to recount to our listeners my Metallica in the movie theater experience very briefly, if you'll permit me. Like literally like a minute and a half.
Okay, first question. How did they do it? Was it the lyric videos?
So have you ever seen one of these Trafalgar releasing events in the movie theater? Sorry?
Trafalgar,
whatever, British. I'm not British.
My kid and my kid now loves English humor.
That's what I'm gonna say.
I was watching Spaced today.
Okay. Red Dwarf though.
You haven't seen my Mr. Flibble shirt.
Trafalgar releasing, Nick. Trafalgar, whatever. They do these big movie events similar to Fathom events where they have a one day in the theater, global streaming across however many theaters. It takes coordinating, it takes licensing, it takes money. Metallica's done a few of these where they've done like a global concert party. That they were part, when they did the Metallica 40, you could go in the movie theater and pay to see it. So that's cool. They coordinated this record release. I was a little surprised based on Metallica's popularity, especially metalheads in the Bay Area where I live, that it wasn't in like the IMAX. But at the exact same time,
oh my God, Metallica in an IMAX?
Well, no, I just figured the amount of seats they would need. But no,
I'm just dreaming that because our IMAX theater is we have like a real IMAX theater.
Stadium.
Yeah. I mean you would be with the double bass on this record, you'd be like levitating off your seat.
Right.
Now I have a dream.
So it's good to have dreams. So here's the thing. They put us in a theater. It's about 50 seats. So it's one of the smaller ones. At the exact same time as this Metallica showing, there was a reissue, reprint, re-release of Ponyo. So the movie theater in IMAX has
so many
Ponyo.
Stories about Ponyo.
Ponyo, whatever. I love those movies, by the way. We could do a whole episode on that stuff. I know you have the soundtracks. Nick is making a face. He's angry. I didn't pronounce it correctly. I love those movies.
Child's 7th birthday party. We rented a movie theater
and
showed Ponyo.
Okay.
And the gift was a little green pail, blue M&Ms, and a red Swedish fish.
That's amazing. My personal favorite is My Neighbor Totoro, but that's another story for another time.
I have the soundtrack to that one. And the best one is Mononoke.
Lady Mononoke. And also Princess Mononoke inspired a whole Alcest album. That's how great that is.
Anywho, Sorry. This is gonna go longer than it should.
It won't.
It will.
Anywho, I'm gonna probably hurl in the middle of this thing. Anyway, into a Pringles can I have here ready to catch my yak. Anyway, so we go to the movie theater and they show movie trailers. Everybody's booing the trailers. They show the standard trailers. Finally, Metallica comes up and here's like a little intro, 30-second Metallica. 72 seasons, yellow. And basically what it is it's interviews with the band that are starting to come online now, little interview segments, and I'm sure they're going to roll them out. I think they were shot on Sony Red, and it's the same. I think Nik is gonna unbox the vinyl and unbox the vinyl.
No, you are doing it.
Oh, okay, I'll do it. And so
You made
I
me
have the
do
better
Big
vinyl
Floyd.
than you anyway, so we're gonna definitely.
Oh,
I have the color.
Mine came
Anyway,
first.
yours did come first. Nik won the I came first. Well, that's not good. That doesn't sound
Whoa,
good. Nik came first.
Christ,
Anyway,
superstar. Seeing that next month.
Anywho, they have interviews with the guys, and it does look similar. The camera stuff looks very similar to the camera documentary interview style stuff of each band member discussing the song meanings. Really cool. In between each song, before the album, after the album, it does look eerily similar to the photography of the album, which you'll see in a second when I pull it out. And also not good. Anyway, when I pull it out. So
this sounds like Darren Pang announcing a hockey game. So he reaches in from behind and gets him.
Coming in from behind. Yes, Marv Albert. Anyway, so
bravery of being out of range.
Exactly. A little celebrity deathmatch humor there for you if you caught that. So the videos we have already seen and the videos they are yet to release all had music videos. There's about 7 or 8 of the whole out, maybe 6 or 7 actual whole music videos beside the 4 we've already seen. They just released another one. Just put out Sleepwalk Life Away, I think.
Trujillo co-write.
Yes, we're going to talk about all that.
Oh, yeah.
And then for the other songs that you haven't had a video for, or won't have a video for, they did visualizers, and they are not that great. They're pretty weird and bad, like bizarre on purpose. Like we don't know what to do with this, and we need something cheap, so we're gonna do like a weird visualizer thing with the song. I was like, it's okay. I wouldn't want them, I wouldn't be excited if they come out for the public. They probably will, of course they will. But the intel on the album was really lovely from the band guys. Lars was not as prepared as he normally is, so sometimes he's just like blah, 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 Lars mouth diarrhea. And James also was like, at one point he was like, yeah, make up whatever you want about this one. I'm not gonna say, like, I don't know what it means. What does it mean to you? I was like the guy who always wants you to know what he's thinking, clearly. And I took voracious notes, so I have my notes still. I came right home from the theater. I came out of the theater and I did like a 1-minute review on YouTube.
I don't doubt that you came out of the theater.
I came in the theater and right out of the theater and did the 1-minute review. And then I came home and I did like a 17-minute fast reaction review of the album. There's still a longer form review coming to Ghost Cult this weekend at some point from one of our other writers. It will be as long as this. I don't know. He's a really great writer from Europe, Mark Bates, and he's much better, probably a better writer than I. But to be honest, so I had immediate thoughts and visceral reactions to this album. Before I let Nik take it away, I'm gonna unbox the vinyl. Both our vinyls came yesterday. I don't remember that I paid for the extra shipping, but I guess I did.
I got mine on the Amazonia. I got the standard black. My intention was going to get a cool color, but I didn't. And you know what? Whatever.
You can go to Target and get the red, by the way. Red
I'm not buying another one.
Oh, I almost did. If this had not shown up, I was going to run to my Target and buy one.
Look, I won't pretend like I didn't consider going to Walmart or Target on Friday.
Specials.
Yeah.
And apparently there was merch, free merch, like guitar picks of 72 Seasons and little yellow tote bags and shirts the staff all had. So like all around the world, Metallica has this machine. Like you could not know. I think the yellow is brilliant, by the way. A lot of people don't like. Let's just talk about this cover for a minute. A lot of people don't like this cover, Metallica fans.
Hang on. I want to talk about the cover, but unbox first.
Okay,
we'll get to that.
So here's the front cover you have seen everywhere with the Metallica M on it, which normally is not in their graphics. Would you call this a new Metallica logo? This new logo M? Is this new?
No,
it's not new, but it's familiar.
No, you know what? Hang on.
It's familiar.
Look up there.
What
do you think?
I see it. Yeah,
because I got the M's. I got all the M's.
it
And I
is
got the M's right
It's sort of the
here.
classic Metallica M, which they brought back for
It
Death
looks
Magnetic.
slightly different though.
Well, first of all, it's just the M. It's not the whole name, but they've done that before.
Yeah, I know, but
S&M2 has it.
at the yeah, at the
Yep.
yeah, at the show, the Hardwired show, they had the M and the A on either side of the stage
Right.
in like 800-foot inflatable.
And then here's the back cover, which we haven't seen too much, right? I haven't seen it before.
I had not seen it
It
until
did
I
come
got
with
the
a
actual
clear
cover.
vanity sticker. Did you save yours?
I saved my hype sticker.
Okay, the hype sticker, right? It was clear.
I'm
And you can't peel
yeah.
them off anymore too easy, can you? I like when you can
No,
peel them
like
right off.
I don't know where it is, but my Ace Frehley Trouble Walking, the person who bought it originally peeled it off and put it on the outer sleeve. They put the record in.
Right. Now
That's how you should do.
I'm gonna show this really quick. I'm gonna obscure my face so you can see it over me. Right?
See,
How do you
mine
feel about
didn't
this? I like that.
mine didn't look like that
Oh, you have the
because
plain.
no, it's I'll show you. See, mine just has the faces.
Well, because you have the sleeves. I took the sleeves out, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna show you in a second. The sleeves are out. So this is how it looks. Nik has his with the sleeves in. I have mine with the sleeves out. Now I'm gonna say I love how that looks. Brilliant.
agreed.
Right?
I the way you're having it looks
But
spectacular.
yeah, if I was gonna display this, I might just do that, but I'm not gonna. But I was gonna say this. One gripe about this is so there's no paper in this middle strip here. So this is a sliding thing, which I don't love for storage. It's fine. But like there's definitely there should be like I know it's like a million trees have to get cut down to put a piece of paper right in there to divide these two sides. I just don't like it. It's aesthetic. It's me. I'm weird. I'm sorry.
My slight gripe on this is if you look, it doesn't lay flat yet. I mean, look, take a look.
It won't let. Yeah, it cannot lay flat.
It will in time. On mine, I've already mylar'd it, cleaned them, everything.
I haven't. Really quick. So here's the 4 sleeves. James, very old looking. I mean, they look ancient.
I have a lot of thoughts about. Hang on, I have a lot of thoughts about their faces. Well, mostly just the one.
What about my dad here? No.
God, that
must share. Speak. Are we frozen?
No, I'm not. We're okay now.
So what's your thoughts? Spit it. Let's go.
I really love the fact that they are not hiding from their age.
Okay.
So many artists, so many everything. Like look at Tommy Thayer, look at Paul Stanley. They have dyed jet black hair.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, Kirk's hair is completely fake, and we've known that since 1997. But he's dyed his fake hair gray. And James is they're old, they're road weary, and they're not running away from that. They are embracing their elder statesman status.
Fair enough.
Love it.
Really quick.
I also love that they didn't like do good photos of them. It was like
you mean glamorous photos, not good.
Right.
They're not bad photos. They're just not glamorous shots.
Let me rephrase. They did the photographs as art. Phenomenal. How they look far more attractive on the back of Kill 'Em All.
Yeah, well. Side A and B on the double LP here is James and Kirk, and then side C and D, our man Lars, very similar to his film depictions, looking like
I love
Dutch
that
painter.
photo of him.
This is a wonderful, actual, very mysterious. Like for a guy who never shuts up, this is a wonderful photo of him.
It shows the weather beaten face. I mean, think about these 4 guys. I mean, for a second, how many places have they been? How many shows have they played? It's just can't even. When I made the joke earlier about how they are heavy metal Led Zeppelin, they completely are. The difference is that when somebody died, they kept going. I'll shut up for a moment.
It's fine. Here is the insert with the burned teddy bear.
I did not look closely at the inserts, I'll be honest.
The insert is really fascinating. Here's the inside. There's the back of the insert with the credits and a broken toy. Looks like a broken sit and spin and a burnt robot. There was like a brief visualizer of the artwork of the album. It wasn't like moving, but it was just like, there was like stills. And here's lyrics. This breaks my heart right here, where you see my left hand fingers right here at the bottom. This is a stack of burned records on fire.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It's
I saw
brutal.
the record player on the back.
It makes me so sad. Yeah, the burnt record
well,
player.
you know what? They probably went to the thrift shop to get those, in fairness. I mean, Metallica is a vinyl.
Yeah, an enterprise into itself.
Yeah.
Are you ready to have your mind blown completely by this vinyl?
I'd rather have something else blown, but sure.
Oh, yeah, lots of sex stuff today. Here we go. The yellow and black splatter.
Oh, you mother fudger.
Look at how gorgeous that is. Look at that.
I am gonna steal that.
I'm gonna gently plant a kiss on the vinyl.
I don't want the red or the whatever the fuck Walmart is. I want that.
The yellow is the best one. If I was doing better financially, I would actually still buy the red one too. But I love that yellow.
That is
perfect.
It's perfection. Okay, so let's discuss the cover briefly. Let's keep it short. When we talked about this originally, because as you know, you have to talk about Metallica in what we do, because frankly, they are the alpha, the omega, they are the beginning and the end of metal. And when I saw the yellow and black, I immediately had a dislike of that, because I don't like yellow. But as news trickled, as songs trickled, they were very smart, starting with Lux Eterna. Lux Eterna is the closest thing to meaningless on the record. Out of context, it is just a Kill 'Em All style thrash song. So then we get to my face is showing, so I should hold the record up. So as we got closer and closer to information, as we got deeper and deeper into this and learned what 72 Seasons is, what this is James's memory of his childhood. And being a child of trauma myself, I actually read a listicle of all the things that children of trauma are, how to describe a child of trauma as an adult. Oh my God, I had never felt so seen in anything in my life, which was very helpful. So this is a very helpful record for me. So seeing basically the entirety of James's childhood burnt up, that's what we're looking at. You know, I love the other three guys, but this is the closest thing to a James Hetfield solo record we've ever had.
I'm gonna disagree. I think lyrically and concept wise, of course, it's James' story. I think that's not fully accurate. I still think Load and Reload is more like a James solo record than anything else. But that's
real quick, story. I just got a refund of $1.62 for my pre-order of 72 Seasons.
Nice, from Amazon. That happened with my Pink Floyd. I got a refund for the price.
$1.62. You could have just not done that, and I wouldn't have even noticed.
Right on. Again, I know that, looking even behind you at some of these distinctive and horribly not distinctive album covers in some cases, thinking about the history of Metallica artwork being so brilliant, thinking about our love of concept bands and albums. Once we understood this was we saw the artwork and the band photos and the video for Lux Eterna at the exact same moment we got the first glimpse of the album cover.
Well, and Lux Eterna, I'm gonna stick with, if you could have put that on any of the previous 4 records.
Sure thing. Yeah, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I just want to say about the artwork, and you said be brief, which is, it's pretty brilliant. I do love the yellow and the black. On the Pantone color wheel, yellow is the opposite of black.
So I love it now. I didn't mention
like that. Band logos or band iconography that's yellow and black is super distinctive. Corrosion of Conformity and early Machine Head come to mind. The first Machine Head logo is yellow and black. Corrosion of Conformity is always a yellow. If it's not the skull guy with the spikes, it's their name and it's yellow on black, right? Because it's actually considered to be the most potent combination of colors in the color wheel, and Metallica's never used them ever for anything. So I think they've
never used yellow on it.
Yeah, the yellow is actually really, it's got in a record shelves, in a record store, in a stack of records is going to absolutely pop. So it's really smart.
It is arresting.
It is arresting. I know people don't like it. They don't like it at all.
No, we don't like it because it's unsettling.
Well, also there's people. Well,
That,
first,
but
maybe yellow is also, psychologically seen as soft, and the Metallica was originally the all black, only black band. Black wearing, black graphic stuff. Very, their album covers all had a touch of black on every one of them.
What my wife pointed out when we saw them in 2017, Kirk is playing a purple sparkle guitar. She missed the fact that Lars was also playing purple sparkle drums.
Drum kit, yeah.
But she looked at me, and she said, "You know what? He's playing a purple sparkle guitar, and they don't say boo."
He also has the greenie, like he loves his colors and whatever.
Don't. Look, I can only get so erect. You don't need to talk about greenie too.
I have to poke my eye out through the screen, Nick Cameron. Watch it. Watch make Nick spit his beer out. So yeah, that's enough about the cover. It's brilliant. Perfectly matches the concept of the album. I say nothing more.
Correct.
Nothing more on that.
I'll say this, and we'll move forward. It's uncomfortable because it's supposed to be.
This whole thing is uncomfortable because it's
correct.
What we're going to talk about a lot about that, I think.
Correct. So now let's move on to how did you prepare for what we're doing today?
So I know what band I'm listening to. I know the age and the gauge of the band and the guys, I think, pretty well as a fan and a person who's covered them my entire career. I knew the mindset they have been in for many years. I know that 60-something-year-old Metallica is not going to make Injustice for All 2. They're definitely not going to be capable of making Master of Puppets 2, really. But they're living in the mindset of the early days of Metallica, those first 3 records. So I listened to the first 4 Metallicas all the way through twice. I listened to side 1 of Garage Inc. because that's their influences from that era. I didn't listen to side 2, which, by the way, I listened to Garage Days like
I should have done that. I skipped that one.
And then I went right past everything else and did Death Magnetic and Hardwired and the 4 singles. And that's all I really listened to for the whole week, except to prepare for 2 band interviews. I had to listen to other records.
I will answer my own question. I went from Metallica, Kill 'Em All the way up to Death Magnetic on vinyl. I did not spin Saint Anger because I have chosen to believe that it did not exist. And it's the one Metallica release I don't have. And unless I come across it for $10 or less, I will never have it.
You don't have Saint Anger when you love Lulu. Problems. Anyway.
You want to talk about Lulu?
Just to clarify.
You want to talk about Lulu?
I have to see it over your shoulder. It's grinding it's making my butthole clench in an uncomfortable way, not in a good way. Listen.
You want to talk?
I don't.
I do.
So here's the thing. Let's just clarify. Nick listened to the entire Metallica discography except Saint Anger.
And Hardwired.
How about the S&M 1 and 2?
No. I only did studio.
So he did like all the studio records except Saint Anger and I mean, like at this point, you don't have to listen to any of them. You know them all. Like Breathing.
Oh my God, yeah. But I wanted to get the way I looked at it was I wanted the arc. I wanted to hear the arc because if you look at Kill 'Em All is 20-year-olds singing about nothing. Ride the Lightning is 22-year-olds singing about things they have no idea about. Master of Puppets is the first legitimate Metallica record in my brain because it's the first record written by those 4 guys. Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning is not written by the band that exists at that moment.
I guess we're going to talk about it in a sec. I have many thoughts.
We'll fight that every day. This is opinion. This is critical opinion. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Then Injustice for All is still my island in the stream that I gravitate to. Makes me want to sing with Dolly and just sing with Dolly because I'm married. Although I think I could probably get a hall pass. Anyway,
Dolly is 70, whatever, 77, and she's still a babe. Just gonna put it out there. Still a babe.
No, she is a national treasure. She is a wonderful, wonderful human being. And then we get to the Black Album, which is when my band. Now, I liked Metallica before the Black Album, not much before. I think maybe 6-7 months ahead of time is when I finally jumped on board with the Stoners at my junior high school. And I mean, I was 7 when Kill 'Em All drops. I'm 8 when Lightning drops. So I mean, I'm just too young to be involved in that. And so Justice is where it's my onboarding point. And your onboarding point for a career band is always special. Then, and a lot of people say I'm contrarian and I like low quality stuff and low key stuff, and that's true. So all of a sudden, Metallica explodes, which makes it hard for me to really look at the Black Album. And I still look at the Black Album as their ticket. That is their golden ticket. A choice was made to change what they did in order to blow up. Justice was an unqualified success. A crazy, I mean, it was double platinum. And Justice for All, a double record featuring 9 songs in extreme metal about all horrible things, is double platinum. I mean, how can you quantify without any radio play? So the question becomes, what do we do next week? Well, we can buy a ticket to ride the train forever. And that's what they did. I get that. I'm fine with that. I have moved on. Then we get to Load. And Load, again, special place for me. That's why it's right there today. First album I bought in real time as it came out on release day. I was at Streetside Records to buy it. And I bought Reload at a different Streetside. Streetside Records was a local St. Louis chain. And then you have those albums, which they are just like, you know what, whatever, man, we're going to do the music we love today. And that is what Metallica has been since that moment. The first 5, I don't consider the Black Album classic. I still don't. Just to kind of give a, I think it's important to know what kind of Metallica fan you are. What is your favorite non-Lulu Metallica release?
Well, my first is still my favorite, and that's Ride the Lightning. The first one I heard all the way through.
Okay, mine.
Without giving you my whole life story, I will give you the Cliff's Notes. I knew of Metallica.
The Cliff Burton's notes?
The Cliff Burton's notes. I knew of Metallica from guitar magazines. I had heard a Metallica song here and there and loved what I heard. I loved heavy metal already as a 9 or 10-year-old. But when I was, I'm going to say 1985, I was 13, 14. And I went to my friend Curtis's house to play music for the first time. He on guitar. I had a borrowed bass. I didn't have my own bass yet. But we were hanging out first. Before we played music together, we were hanging out. Then later we graduated to playing music together. But he had a box of CDs that he had inherited from a passed away relative. They thought he would like them because he already played guitar and he loved music and guitar music. And one of those records was Ride the Lightning.
Wait, CDs?
CDs.
Oh, wow.
And we put on Ride the Lightning on CD, and we sat in silence while we listened to it and had our whole worldview changed. Because we liked heavy metal, we liked Maiden and Priest, but we loved classic rock more.
Oh, yeah. Same. But for me, exact same, but
bonded over Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin and all kinds of things. And then we heard Ride the Lightning, and we went down the yellow brick lightning streaked road, and we never came back. And the first record that I bought in real time,
Yellow Road,
Yellow Brick Road. We came back. The first Metallica I got brand new was Master of Puppets, and it blew my little brain up because as much as Ride the Lightning is incredible and the songwriting is great, Master of Puppets is 10x Ride the Lightning, to be honest.
It completely is.
And Master of Puppets is still the best riff ever. The first 33 seconds of Master of Puppets, to me, is the best guitar riff of all time, period, and full stop.
You'll never hear me toot my own wang doodle about my guitar playing, but I can play that riff.
Yeah, sure. I can play the bass. And then
I
I've
guess
had
it's
similar experiences we all went to when the Black Album came out. Yeah, like so the fact that Metallica went from still an underground band to opening for Ozzy and blowing his high and drunk ass off the stage every night
while they were high and drunk.
while they were drunk, maybe not high, drunk for sure.
Cliff, Kirk, and Lars were high.
Yeah, whatever. Probably. So that band took a leap forward where they captured Ozzy's entire audience and took a lot of them with them. And so that's unheard of.
That was, I
doesn't
would
happen.
say, that was a passing of the torch, because
yeah.
I didn't know at that time that Ozzy was so old. I didn't know he was in Black Sabbath. I didn't know Black Sabbath existed at that time. Again, I'm 8, so I mean,
right. Well, I'm older than that, so I hadn't seen that tour, but I didn't see Metallica till later. But I just want to say that, like, the fact that they were basically headlining arenas with no radio or MTV or anything.
Yeah, think about that for a second.
Music forever because they did that. And again, this is not about the history of Metallica as much as it is about 72 Seasons, but it's important to understand in context how they got here, right? And so
correct,
their records start to sell gold and platinum without, And Justice for All goes platinum. Black Album is platinum sold out of the gate, 1 million out of the box, out of the factories, 1 million.
It's platinum before 12:05
right
a.m.
We went to Madison Square Garden to do a listening party with 19,000
You did go? You did go to that?
Yeah. I had the long box. I did go. I was like,
ooh, there's a phrase we don't hear very much
box.
anymore.
I miss it's coming back. I don't know if you know that a couple of bands are doing
Fuck
it.
that noise.
Well, it's a waste of paper. Honestly, it's bad for the environment. But anyway, I'm not a hippie.
Hey, I can do bad for the environment. I
get rid of bees and trees, we die. Just letting you know.
I don't love bees. I drive an electric car.
I don't love bees, but if we don't have any more, we die.
Yeah,
so just to understand, we're not going to do the whole history of Metallica all the way up, but it's important to know there's no, after Pink Floyd, this is my favorite band ever.
If I may jump in, I think it's important to know when you're dealing with critical questions, when you're dealing with somebody giving you their opinion, it's important to know how their opinions are formed. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. So we both have a long history with this band.
And please go back and listen to, we'll link it in the description, our playlist on all of our Metallica. We did the first bunch of, we did Metallica history here at the Glacially Musical Pouredcast. Was the first major thing we did together.
It was.
And I'm very proud of that series. I think it's great. It's very few arguments, except about Lulu and Saint Anger.
Lulu.
Yeah. And I think
there were no arguments about Saint. Well, no, I take it back, because I believe that if they re-recorded it tomorrow, it'd be a banger.
I don't think so. It's a bunch of thrown together stuff as opposed to this record. And I'll go there. I'll go
go
right there. All my ums. I just want to say, yeah. So I don't make any apologies about loving Metallica and being a huge fan and I've seen them. I moved to California 2 years ago in July, and I have seen Metallica 5 times in 2 years, including on my birthday, on my 49th birthday, in our small room with 500 people. I have the set list on my bedroom closet.
Go to hell.
I should have pulled it down for this, but I can't now.
Don't pull it out.
And they didn't play Enter Sandman, which was the best part of it all. It was like my favorite thing. It was like finally.
That is what I'm looking forward to for this tour.
Finally, a show potentially with no Enter Sandman.
No, I will have one.
Oh, you haven't had one.
I will have a show with no Enter Sandman.
Oh, you will have one.
No repeats.
No repeats is about definitely. Or like if there's a song you hate by Metallica, you only hear it once. You might not hear it at all. Actually,
I will only hear Wherever I May Roam once.
Oh,
God, I hate that song.
Oh, I love that song. That was the song we opened like a whole 2 years of band rehearsals with in my band.
I hate your band now.
Oh.
Okay, so moving on.
Go listen to GruntBX on Bandcamp and check out my song and buy it for $1. Anyway.
I'll just send you the $1. I mean,
you can hear me sing and play bass on a song I wrote 90% of.
I can just give you $2.
You could.
Fair.
I just spent $2. I had to buy a 7-inch vinyl adapter for the 7-inch I checked last week, by the way. I had to buy one because it didn't come with my turntable.
I have been
Amazing.
fighting my turntable this week, only to discover my turntable was not being finicky, but what in fact happened was the cable for the speaker had come loose.
Oh, goodness.
I fixed it, so
What
we're
timing?
fine.
What bad timing.
Yeah. Anyway, moving forward, let us just drop it. Let's just drop it like it's hot because everything's burned up.
Do you want to do the tracks or what?
Yeah, let's move on to the record. Let's not get to the track by track yet.
Okay.
First off, as we both listen to this digitally and vinylly, which did you prefer?
Oh, the vinyl sounds wonderful. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna post up a video I made, like a little clip of me unwrapping
I will
the
not
box.
post a video of me listening to this on vinyl. It is not. There's no. I'm not going to go to YouPorn.
Okay. I heard it in the movie theater and the sound wasn't that great. Honestly, it should have been a lot louder.
Sucks.
It really
That
sucks. It
sucks
wasn't
ass.
like Dolby. It wasn't loud. We were yelling for them to make it louder. It was definitely low. Whoever was running it didn't care. I was like, please make it louder. Please, the movie theater atmosphere was great. People were cheering, screaming along to the songs they knew, getting up and headbanging, throwing the horns, moshing a little bit in their seats. It was really fun. But the volume needed to be like way louder. Like I understand that like maybe there's too loud for the theater, but like
It's like Jason Newsted said at the Freddie Mercury show. All sound problems are solved with volume. I my first impressions of this record, obviously, like everyone, was via the dropped videos, and I love Lux Eterna, and everything post Lux Eterna I didn't listen to very long. I didn't finish any song after that until I got the record, because I wanted my first impressions to be the vinyl impressions. Metallica is a vinyl loving band because they grew up in that era. They talked about on Jimmy Kimmel this week their first vinyl records. Kirk's was it the Carpenters? Partridge Family Christmas.
Partridge Family Christmas with like it was autographed, by the way,
Yeah,
by the band, by the
pretend
band.
autograph. Yeah,
Pretend autograph. I mean, it's autograph.
it is what it is. And they grew up in that era, so they are very reverent over the vinyl process. And I don't believe Metallica ever went to digital recording. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they always had some element of analog in their recording. They never went full digital.
No, I don't think that's true. No.
Really?
Yeah, that's not true.
Oh, balls.
I think the Black Album's the last record that was made on tape, and they've been digital ever since. Some form of digital. Because Bob Rock is known for being the digital guy who got rid of tape.
But
he changed
Saint Anger was the last one. Oh, load.
No, Saint Anger is 100%.
Well, yeah,
literally chopped up in Pro Tools like a piece.
Yeah, I know. Saint Anger does not exist. It's not a thing.
You said it. If you bring it up, you have to answer for it.
That's fair.
So, I don't know. I want to say that this is the best sounding Metallica record in ages. So here's the thing to discuss. Not only do I not, we will talk about Saint Anger. So Saint Anger is not a good record to me, but like at least it's recorded competently. As we well know, well documented, Death Magnetic may have been recorded properly, but was mixed and mastered horribly.
It is much better on vinyl, like 10 times better.
Go back and hear it. I don't know if I have it actually. I have to double check. It is bad to the point that it's hard to listen to.
Correct.
So then Hardwired is just too loud. It's the loudness war again. Just too loud. It's fine. It's mixed too loud. I don't know if that makes sense.
Again, it's better on vinyl.
Do you not agree, or do you?
No, I completely agree with both.
No, I have Hardwired on vinyl, and it's still too loud. It's not mixed well. It's just too loud. It's not good sounding. It's not the best
it,
sounding Metallica.
it is a bit abrasive. It is
Maybe it was meant to be because we're rocking out like we used to again.
well, you also have to remember that the closest thing to a companion record for Hardwired is Kill 'Em All, because there's no Kirk. Kirk is when it comes to riffing
That's
and
not fair.
songwriting, he has a softening influence on James.
That's fair, but like I think like you really picking nits here. I think I know what you mean, but like
Could be.
I don't think that's fair to Kirk. He played on the record. He just didn't get to contribute as much.
Right. He played on the record, but
also like I think again there's this circling of the wagons that Lars and James have done for decades since Cliff died, where they don't let anyone. This is their safe space together, and it's hard for them to let anyone else come in and play in their sandbox, and they regret it whenever they do, like Bob. Which is why people calling for Bob to come back is nonsense. They'll never work with him again.
No.
I can't never work with it. They will. I'm not saying I don't want them to work with him. I don't. But they will never work with him again. I don't think, except on these remasters or whatever. They're never going to collaborate with him in a meaningful way. They're going to go to someone else or keep doing what they're doing. They love Greg, which is a shame. And I'll talk about why in a second. Greg's good, but like, I don't know. This is the best sounding Metallica record in terms of the sonics, the sound. I thought it was equally good on vinyl, equally good digital, just crisp and pristine. And we just listened to that Pink Floyd record that is the best live anything I have ever heard.
No, don't bring that.
But I'm just saying for comparison, for context, this is a modern record.
It's not fair.
Okay, but I'm just saying like that record is pristine and beautiful.
I know,
and this record is
excellent.
Why it's
not fair. The Pink Floyd record, which is right there, is one of the greatest sounding records of it is probably sonically the best sounding live record of all time, and it sounds better than most studio records. It's not fair.
Fair enough. So let's move forward and talk. Like, I don't know what you want to talk about next about the record, but the sound of the record is excellent. It actually sounds like a grown-up, finally beautifully recorded, mastered, mixed record. Finally a record worthy of this band and
this lineup
in this entire 20 years. They haven't had a good sounding one of these records, so finally they have one.
Well, they've now. This is the fourth record, which with this lineup, I'm counting Lulu. Lulu is still my favorite, not for the reasons that you would think. Sorry, I gotta be me.
I wasn't born with enough middle fingers for this conversation. Go ahead.
Gotta be me. It's right there. What's your favorite Metallica release before what's your favorite? Mine is still
Ride the Lightning. Still,
mine's still Garage Inc.
Okay.
What I love about Garage Inc.
Odd choice.
I'm sorry, not Garage Inc. I'm sorry, I apologize. Garage Days revisited.
Okay.
5-track EP.
That's interesting.
What I love about that release is it's so loose. Metallica and Kiss have something very serious in common. They're really serious about beating that horse till the record is right. And then live, they're loose. I love the loose Metallica, and that's what I love about Lulu. Lulu is loose. It is loose. It is angry. It is vulgar. It's not even their music. Technically, it's Lou Reed's music. When you're here, we're going to spin it, and you're going to sit right there.
I'm going to smash that record over your head, buddy. Don't even take it out in my presence. Crazy. Crazy talk. We're going to spin it. We are not going to listen to Lulu ever.
You got $200 to pay me back for it?
I will pay you back for it. I'm glad I busted over your head. Now, don't take it out. Don't take it out.
It's right there.
You don't have you have no consent for me to take it out. Please don't.
All right, fair. So,
if you value me as a friend, I'd rather watch Kiss Meets the Phantom over and over than listen to Lulu ever again.
I don't have. Well, I have it on VHS, but I don't got a VCR anymore. So, I have Attack of the Phantoms. It's the same movie, just with different songs. Anyway, so I love loose Metallica. I love rough Metallica. That is what I really dig. That's why I like live Metallica better than studio. That's why I like drunk live Metallica better than modern day. But I mean, you may notice all the modern
You
day
might like
records.
Metallica a little bit. Um,
I
so
love
now
Metallica.
I want to talk about something
Go
before
ahead,
we get into the tracks that I think needs to get expressed.
get it.
And I don't know that many people are going to touch on this, but it really occurred to me during the listening of this in the movie theater and again on repeated listens. I've now listened to the record about 6, 7 times in
I'm
2
about
days.
5 or 6. Yeah.
So you said something at the top that this record is like it's James's record, which it is. Every record is James's record to an extent. His band, he writes the lyrics. This is his concept story.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say, and I'm
Uh-oh.
not going out on a limb, I'm going to throw it out there and see what you think. This is the most collaborative Metallica has ever been since the Dave Mustaine era, and I'll tell you why. This is the record. The reason people who are saying it sounds like stock and boring and this and that are not understanding that this is not 12 songs by Lars and James. This is 12 songs by Lars, James, Kirk, and Rob, to the extent that Kirk and Rob contributed a little bit across the board. Maybe not every single song, but a lot. A lot of songwriting influence. Kirk has contributed as a songwriter, probably. I didn't look at the credits. We did this during the Metallica series. The most credits Kirk ever had, I think, is 5 or 6
Yeah, that's about right.
on Reload.
Well, Reload has like 48 songs.
But 5 or 6.
One.
Is this album or what are you doing?
I'm counting. I'm counting Hammett credits.
This record.
One. Yep. 2, 3, 4. He has 4 out of 12.
There's also a solo on every song.
Yeah.
It's funny that they don't count his solos as songwriting because it totally is, by the way. But okay.
Completely agree. But
There's
yeah.
millions and billions in publishing, so fine. I guess he doesn't care. But if this was a smaller band, he'd be pissed. Also, Rob, how many does Rob have? I'm gonna guess at least 3 or 4.
I think he has 2. Pulling it up. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 3. And
So
I would never.
that's a lot. These guys never let anyone into the sanctum, and they let these guys during the discuss. See, here's the thing: you don't have the benefit of during the pre-song discussion, the interviews between the songs. They talked about who Rob and Lars came in with this drum part, this intro, this tribal drum intro. Kirk wrote the main riff to the title track of the album. That has never happened in Metallica history. Kirk wrote the riff. If you don't like 72 Seasons, you blame, it's not James's riff. James allowing someone else to make the main riff of the main song on an album has never happened in the Metallica whole over. This is mind-blowing to me. They really that's as much as they will let anyone contribute since Mustaine or even Cliff. Ends full stop. So, like, to me, first and foremost, this is almost not a full band album, but as close as you will ever get to a full band collaboration.
There will never be a full band Metallica record.
Probably not, but like this is as close as you will ever get.
Correct. I would completely agree. Metallica is the genesis of James and Lars's vision. And if Kirk and Rob can, do something that helps, then they're welcome. That's as far as it goes. That's the reality. And you know what? I talked about this yesterday at the office. Trujillo is not a writer.
That again, that's untrue. You always say that. You've said it before. It's just so categorically, completely untrue. He has contributed to every other band he's ever been in as a songwriter.
Let me rephrase.
Just mind blowing how you continue with this.
Okay, can I rephrase? He doesn't write with Metallica.
He does now.
But here we have 3 Trujillo co-writes. So that is awesome because he is extraordinarily talented. He is. I don't think I have the words to explain how great that man genuinely is. So,
anywho,
I think
I wanted to bring this point up in the first place before we talked about the track by track, so people understand that there are influences and writing in this album that don't come from completely 100% from James. and especially James and Lars. And I think
Correct.
that's really significant in the sound of the album and the quality of the album.
Correct.
And
12
I think
tracks,
it should be known.
7 co-writes that aren't James and Lars.
Would have been a better album, honestly, with 9 tracks, but we'll go there later. Maybe 9 or 10, to be honest.
Oh my.
Yeah, I
Metallica
think 10
has released double records since 19.
Well, yeah, you continue to look at this as a double record. I understand what you mean. This is an actual double necessitated. It is 77 minutes long. It is self-indulgent by nature. They seem to just like whatever the most amount of music we can put on a record on a like digital has no bounds. There's what could have stopped them from putting out all the demos also on this and just making it a 50-song album. Like what would stop them?
They don't do that. They've never done
But
that.
I'm saying like what you consider a double album in the context of what we have termed the new vinyl era.
No. I will not stop.
They're still making the 77-minute number has to do with CDs.
I know.
Which is very interesting in this day and age because again, we live in a digital medium where we're talking about one of the most dominant metal and rock bands on streaming, the most dominant rock and metal band on streaming.
Load and Reload are both 78.50, which is the maximum a CD could hold at that
Hardwired
time.
is how long?
Hardwired? I don't know,
like
70-ish, 75-ish.
Death Magnetic's a little shorter.
Everything post Master of Puppets has been a double record. You know, the vast
what
majority
you consider
of the time,
a double record.
No, it's not just me. The vast majority of time in this world, an album could only hold 43 to 45 minutes tops. So you have single, double, triple, double. Single side, EP, LP, triple side, double. Once you get past 65 minutes, it's a double. It just is. Johnny Cash released LPs that were 24 minutes. Jefferson's Airplane had a 23-minute LP. I don't have that one because 23 minutes, what the fuck? Anyway, so Metallica has released 11 double albums in a row. I don't know the number. I didn't count it out.
The Black Album's not a double album.
It is too. It's 63.
Not double albums.
60. Anything past 60. I
have an argument to back this up. I don't want to argue about it now, but like you're wrong. You're just wrong.
Not wrong.
It's okay.
Move on.
You're looking at it wrong.
I'm not.
It's not about the number of minutes.
It is.
It's still 12 songs. It's not 24 songs. It's not a double album. Because it has to be a double album for vinyl, it's a double album for us. It's
Correct.
Not a double album.
Double album.
It's not the White Album. It is not a live album with 4 sides. It's 4 sides because it's what fits best and sounds best on.
Hang on. How long is the White Album?
You're now talking about a record 50 years old. We're not trying to compare these two things.
You
Metallica's 70.
You brought it up. I didn't bring it up.
The 77-minute number has to do with CDs, not vinyl.
Holy crap! It's 93 minutes.
I told you were wrong. Anyway, you refuse to listen to me and bow to my deference. It's fine. I understand the disrespect.
Bow to your deference. That doesn't even make sense. Move on.
You have to defer to my greatness and my brilliance at all times.
Mm-hmm. So
the Keefy demands it. I'm just talking about in third person the rest of this episode, just because.
Nik requests we talk about track 1.
Go ahead. I don't have enough beer for this. Go ahead.
I do, but I'm not going to drink anymore. So track 1, 72 seasons. That stuff's about 8 minutes long. Progressive metal, big thumping. All immediately, I've got vibes of Reload, Death Magnetic, and Hardwired all at once. No complaints. Thoughts? You're moving.
Helpful if I unmute myself.
There we go.
Kirk wrote that main riff. He literally, what he said in the movie theater interviews, what he likes to do is wake up first thing in the morning, not have coffee, not go for a surf, go right to his guitar and start jamming because he feels like his brain is open and there's nothing bothering him or he hasn't had time to think about anything else. And he's most creative. And he woke up one day, rubbed the sand out of his eyes, the crusties out, plugged in his guitar, And this riff came to him in 5 minutes. This entire riff, those two riffs, the thrashy part and the stabbing parts, that's all Kurt. One of the 2 or 3 best solos on the whole record, and really sets the table. If you're gonna have a concept record, sometimes it needs to be a concept. By definition, a concept record is a concept from start to finish. And this 72 Seasons, I think it's like a very, because it's James's story. And this is very much like, I'm going to throw this out here and say that 72 Seasons is James Hetfield's Roger Waters' The Wall, lyrically. Like, this is his life story.
Agreed.
In a way, in a lot of
Completely
ways.
agree.
And he's talking about 72 Seasons is the realization of this concept that I'm seeing this conceptually, lyrically and conceptually, some of his best work, honestly, and some of his most vulnerable. We just did the Saint Anger stuff for the live episode, the last, the next to last Vinyl Sub Club Metallica episode. And we talked about like the actual plus of Saint Anger, if there is one, is these vulnerable lyrics, these just out of rehab lyrics, these 12-step lyrics. And we have a lot of that here because James is living that path. Correct. And really, self-actualization is a thing that comes to people in recovery later because they're covering it up with substances and booze. And so I think James is, not to mention what's going on in his personal life, the disillusion of his marriage and his new love, I think are things that are actually openly addressed on this record, weirdly, and also, painstakingly so. So this song's a banger, definitely one of the best tracks. And yeah, man, like Kirk Hammett co-wrote a title track of a record on Metallica.
That's at least the second time. He has a co-write on Master.
Well, he wrote, I mean, like, does the Black Album have a title track? Technically, it doesn't, but
No.
he did write the main riff of Enter Sandman also.
This
guy's got gifts. He's gifted. For a guy who's not thought of as a main riff writer, he really is, though.
For a guy that's looked at as not that great, he's pretty fucking great. Best way
Indeed.
So we move on to Shadows Fall. And this is when, for me, on this album, that the lyrics really start to catch. Metallica over the course of their career, for the most part, has either written lyrics that anyone could relate to. The money in the courts, the televangelists, the drug stuff. He never wrote, and he writes, Load, Reload, Saint Anger. There's a lot of personal writing there, but it's very abstract. I mean, would you ever know that Until It Sleeps is about cancer? About specifically the cancer that killed his father? You would never know that. So when we get to Shadows Follow. I need my glasses. I can't because it shows up in my eyes. So Shadows Follow. That is a song that is painful, that is uncomfortable, and it's art. Thoughts?
I think Shadows Follow is a solid song. I think lyrically it's better than it is musically. It's got a lot of punk influence, a lot of heavy metal influence. There's a great long solo. It's very bluesy, like Black Album bluesy, which is fine.
There's kind of described Greenie making him play bluesier.
Right. And there's a breakdown it's like almost a hardcore type of breakdown, like with a Sabbath riff. Great vocal harmonies. You heard me talk about this in a private text, that this is some of James's best vocals and best singing with himself. Incredible harmonizing across the record. And the end of the song has what I call the Batman riff. It literally has a at the end that I swear has to be on purpose. They had to have heard it. I heard it. They heard it. They must have heard the Batman song riff in there. They must have thrown it in there as a gag, a goof. Good song, not the greatest song. Great lyrics, a lot of pluses, but I wouldn't have this in the top tier of songs on the album. But it's good. It's a good second song.
Fair enough. Let's move on to Screaming Suicide. Let's kind of keep this one quick. It's more powerful than it is good.
That is not inaccurate. I also, again, another new album, a lot of new album influence across this record.
Don't necessarily need it. Don't necessarily want to cut it off either.
Yeah, listen, it's an important song. It's an important song lyrically. There's 3 guitar solos, all of them pretty solid, not spectacular. Kind of reminded me of their Discharge covers from, again, Garage Inc. And there's a cool spoken word part in it where James kind of does the Enter Sandman, now I lay me down to sleep part, which is good. So yeah, good song. Probably my least favorite of the 4 singles, actually, now that I think about it in context.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But a very important song, and I'm really glad that James is using this platform to talk about.
Hey, don't hate it. Don't
suicidal ideation.
I love the song, but it doesn't need to be on the record, if that makes sense. Sleepwalk My Life Away, no real strong feelings.
Wow. Okay. This is one of my favorite songs on the whole record. This song started with Lars and James with that tribal intro.
One of us does have 3 people in his house harassing him whenever he tries to listen to anything. In all fairness,
right. Robert basically wrote that, came in with that bass part. Lars has several tribal kind of interesting drum, Enter Sandman opening drum beats that open up a few of these songs. Kind of a stomping heavy metal in the vein of King Nothing, Enter Sandman. And then I am gonna say, people can see you. I am gonna say, really
no, because you're talking, they can't see me.
Yeah, I don't think we're set to that view, but I will say that
last week.
There's a really cool thing here that Kirk has kind of elevated himself. I remember really quick when Aerosmith put out Get a Grip. Steven Tyler, who I hate to talk about, said that Joe Perry has elevated to some kind of like Jimmy Page level. And I think that Kirk Hammett's blues soloing has elevated to like a Jimmy Page, Joe Perry level now. This song could have been like a Danzig or BLS song. I think it's easily one of my top 4 songs on the whole record out of 12.
All right.
And it's great. I love it.
Let's move on to You Must Burn. Again, no strong feelings. I'm sorry.
One of us came prepared. The other did not.
I tried. I listened to this 4 times.
Okay. You Must Burn is also one of the best songs on the record. So you're starting to understand where I'm coming from.
Hey, I set this shit up. You knock it down. That's
great Sabbath riff. Great, very slow. This is the slowest song I think on the record, and like not a slow part, but like overall, the groove and beat is relatively slow. Long, shreddy solo, best guitar solo on the record by far, and probably some of the best lyrics. You are the witch, you must burn. And
Thank
who
you.
is the witch? You must burn.
Remember this one now. It sounds very much like a sequel to Am I Evil? Like I remember listening to that today when I was mowing my front yard. A lot of fighting with my iPhone. There's some fuzz in there. The headphones aren't working right. But no, I loved that. And, I wish you would lead the track by track because you say things and I remember things.
Okay, fine. I will lead the track by track.
Always.
I wish I had a second beer. I also feel like I'm going to puke. Anyway, so Lux Eterna, first single, still a banger. Motorhead, correct. Satan, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Painkiller.
Throwing the horns.
Throwing the gosh darn horns. Incredible song.
Great double bass.
Lars, man, I don't know how he's going to do some of this live, and it sounds like they're going to play a lot of this stuff live.
No way in hell. This
not at this tempo.
This is Lars's best record in 20 years.
Maybe.
No.
I thought his drumming across. Well, like he always plays what's good for the song, and if the songs are very simple and easy, that's good for him. But like this has actually got a lot of some interesting complex drumming on it, and I gotta give him his flowers, man. The Overkill record came out yesterday, and it has Jason Bittner, and it's incredible, right? If you want technical, brutal thrash metal that's modern and classic, you go to Overkill or Testament or Exodus. But like this, for Lars, this is I'm gonna give him his flowers, man. He really did a great job on this record.
One of the things about Lars is, and I will go to my grave with this, Lars is not a drummer. Lars is a guitar player who plays the drums. What makes him great is his ability to lock in with James. He can follow. James Hetfield as a guitar player is frankly insane. It makes no sense. They
The
changed
best
time
right
signature.
hand that ever existed, actually, in metal.
Correct.
Like,
Correct.
and
But
I would say Mustaine has the best left hand in metal. Anyway,
but they changed time signatures during the riff. Lars can follow that. You know, they
well,
didn't
Lars is
find
not keeping the time as much as he's playing along with James, but that would be
correct.
anybody playing with James.
Correct.
Anybody.
They didn't even discover that 4/4 was a time until 1992. Call a thing what it is. So the
Amazing.
fact that
Amazing. That's the best. That's the quote of the show right there.
it's like it's Metallica is heavy metal John Lee Hooker. Except that like four dudes doing it at once instead of just John Lee. Listen to Canned Heat and John Lee Hooker's Hooker and Heat, and you'll hear me. There are studio tracks where John Lee's like, "How do you follow me? I don't know how you can do it." He had producers say, "No, you got to stomp the beat while you're playing." That's Metallica. Period. Lux Eterna, banger, certified. Move on. You.
Sorry, I got distracted for a second. My apologies. Let me go recover my notes. Boop, 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 boop. So after Lux Eterna, we have Crown of Barbed Wire, which I am seeing a lot of complaints about online, but I think this is a great song. Another tribal drum beat, another bass riff, great mid-tempo song. I would say like you can split this album into fast songs and mostly mid-tempo. With a there are a lot of time signature changes. We haven't talked about that at all yet. There are a lot of songs that go through. I wouldn't say it's And Justice for All progressive metal in what I would call progressive metal, like progressive riffing.
It's
But I would say
closer
there's
to
definitely
stoner metal.
there's a lot of stoner rock and doom metal. There's doom riffs. And also, but there are a lot of time signature changes, not in an effort to be proggy, but just to mix it up for probably themselves. So there's only like Lux Eterna is fast all the way through, and there's one other that's pretty fast all the way through. The rest of the album, even the mid-tempo songs will have like a little fast part and a little slow down part. And some of the songs go Inamorata, which we'll get to at the end, goes through many changes. Crown of Barbed Wire, really good, really great lyrics, great singing. Kind of reminded me of The Memory Remains, which was their tribute to trying to be like a COC band. So this is a stoner riff song. Good riffs.
Completely
Thoughts?
agree with that. It's this record it's the first time in my brain that Metallica has crafted a record like purposefully. There's no, and I mean they've always been good at it. Don't get me wrong. Master Puppets and Justice for All, Black Album for how much I do or don't like it, and Death Magnetic, Hardwired. They're all great pieces of music, but this is the first time it feels like they intentionally made an album, like the Pink Floyd kind of way. Maybe I'm still thinking about Dark Side of the Moon from days ago, just a few days ago. But yeah, absolutely. There's nothing that has been get rid of. Nothing has fall. We're about to put on side C of the record, and nothing has fallen down to. I don't want to hear this. I don't need this. And for a band that's put out 11 double albums in a row with varying degrees of success, that's awesome.
Lars, during the interview series of the album premiere, did indicate when the records flipped over and changed sides on cassette or vinyl, which I thought was very interesting.
They're a very vinyl reverent band. I
So do you
mean,
generally like this song? I didn't get a taste.
I genuinely like everything we've heard so far.
Okay.
I
I
mean,
could live without one or a few of these songs.
I could live without them, but that doesn't mean I don't enjoy them.
Okay. Chasing Light is the next song and is one of the ones, even though it's thrash and heavy metal all the way through, I can live without this one.
I love
Great
this one.
lyrics, good singing. People are gonna like gravitate to this one, but this one I thought was kind of middle of the road, honestly. Has a really heavy ending. Probably one of their best endings of a song on this record. But I just overall, I could kick this one off the island if it was up to me.
Let's not do that. I mean, I started it, I know, and I regret that now. I opened that door. But when you said earlier in the episode that this record is James Hetfield's The Wall, you completely nailed it. And Chasing Light is another one of those songs where you need it for you just need it for the narrative. You may not love it, but I do.
Fair enough. Another banger. If darkness had a sun, here I
Oh God,
am.
I'm just
I can't wait to hear this live. This is an
same.
incredible one. I'm glad it was a single. It is one of the highlights of the entire album. It is the
James
most
Hetfield in a lyrical poetry kind of thing.
but it's genius, man. The whole thing is genius.
Completely
Great,
genius.
incredible chorus. Um, cool, fast, hardcore breakdown with like a little pss, pss. And yeah, fantastic song.
Then we move on into Too Far Gone, which is an extension of that song. One of the things they have done on this record is really it's only 4 tracks. If you could allow me to be contentious for a moment, each side starts off with a song. Then the following songs on that side are buttresses to that song. So when you say you don't need that one, well, you've got that idea pushed through, you're done with it. That's what they have done with this record is they have here's an idea, here's us pushing through it. And that is when I say they created a record, when they crafted an album. And how many bands, how many double albums, double studio records, CDs don't count because that's a different deal. How many studio records can you sit down and go, wow, they nailed it? It's not that many.
So this is Too Far Gone. I'm gonna say this. I'll let you have your contentious theory. I think it's not a bad theory, actually. Maybe they wrote maybe James uh lyrically conceived these pillars to build each side around, or maybe it happened that way, this suite of songs. I don't disagree. Thematically, they're very similar. So Too Far Gone, phenomenal opening riffs, real Kill 'Em All energy, new album, incredible harmonies, and there's a quite a bit of thrash in here, a lot of great right hand riffing and picking, down picked like crazy, and the amazing Thin Lizzy thumbprint of the twin harmony solo is back, and it's better than ever. It really is.
Well, they all love
solo.
Thin Lizzy.
They do, and it's on here a lot. And I think maybe like some, again, they've been like tipping their hat a lot with the Helping Hands, Thin Lizzy, and UFO covers. So that's all great classic guitar stuff,
All right, let's see if we can crush through the next couple. Room Full of Mirrors.
Room Full of Mirrors would have been the spit out the bone of this record. The only drawback is that it has the ping from Saint Anger. It's like the only song with the Saint Anger drum snare, and it's really jarring and horrible because it's jarring and horrible. And if they ever put out this animated video they showed us for this track, it's fuck terrible. I hope they never do.
Fuck them. Moving on.
Yep. And then
closes the record with the anguish, the suffering, the pain.
You think so? I mean, in a Murata, right? That's the
Mm-hmm.
title.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about, like, first of all, this is the longest song they've ever made. Just musically, right? It's longer than Fixer, it's longer than Orion, it's long. It's longer than Injustice for All. It is kind of the My Friend of Misery of this record in a good way. I don't know if that's
Mm-hmm.
I love that song.
No, that is one of the best songs on that record. So
It
it's always a good thing.
has kind of everything in the kitchen sink on this record
Mm-hmm. Completely.
musically.
Completely.
Sabbath, bass solo breakdown, wonderful, beautifully sung, probably some of the best singing since The Day That Never Comes.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible vocals by James, kind of had an Orion vibe to it at one point with Robert by himself. Harmony solos like the end of Fade to Black,
Oh yeah.
lots of outro guitar solo by Kirk that goes on for like 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Maiden ending for the whole album. The
If I could,
lyrics,
if I could cut you off slightly, just in the name of time, because we are just really happy. This is a great track. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. This is the culmination of Metallica. This is all their influences. It's all their outfluences. It's everything they've ever done, nailed together for 12, almost nearly 12 minutes.
it
If you
is
don't
it
want,
is a it is a love song, and I just want to put it out there. This is I'm guessing from what I can tell, this is a song about the end of James's long marriage and the mother of his children and his new relationship he's in that he's starting to share on social media, which is
Mhm.
very brave of him because the fans are vultures and they're like, he's so buttoned up and private. The fact that he
Nobody
would
hates
share anything,
Metallica like Metallica
it's
fans.
kind of
Just
like
like
Star
nobody,
Wars.
just like I was gonna say that, just like
No,
Star Wars.
nobody
No one
hates
hates Star Wars like
Metallica.
Star Wars fans.
Yeah, it's a really great song. It's a phenomenal closer to the album, honestly.
Agreed. Agreed. Completely
So I
agreed.
know you want to wrap it up. Let's do a grade and a tier ranking. Do you
Well,
want to rank all the Metallica records ever or no?
hang on. Let
You don't have time, I think.
tuck it back. What is your first impression? Not a tier, not a ranking, not a critical thing. What do you hear with this record?
I love this record for the first when I heard it in the movie theater. I came out of the theater so excited beyond all my expectations. It's a very strong record. It's a great sounding record. I wanted a great sounding Metallica record, a record that sounds like it's worthy of these songs, and I got that. And I got a heavy record. There's no ballads. It's it's hard all the way through, and there's no like contrived songs they made to appease
Wait
a
a minute.
certain
Wait a
segment of
minute. What the
fans.
fuck? We didn't get Unforgiven 4?
We did not. We are never getting Unforgiven 4, I think.
No, I okay, they got to do another one. I need Unforgiven 4.
You just said this is their last record last week. I don't
I
know.
know. Now they can't because they didn't give me Unforgiven 4.
I don't think we get Unforgiven 4,
We're
buddy.
not
I'm
going to get
sorry.
Unforgiven 4. That Unforgiven 3 was stupid. But
I still say The Day That Never Comes should have been Unforgiven 3, and Unforgiven 3 should have been The Day That Never Comes. Fight me.
I don't care nearly enough about those songs. Um I mean, The Day That Never Comes was just side night part awful.
I'm
Anyway,
all out of beer. I'm so lost without beer. Go ahead.
stop
I think the fever and the delirium is getting to me. I'm getting delirious. Go ahead.
it. Jesus.
I love the record. That's what you were asking
I
me. How do
love
I
the
feel
record
about
as
this
well.
record? I loved it. I know
What I
people are
love
going to
about
hate on it because they hate Metallica and they hate freedom and they hate America. I love this record.
what I love about this album is it is the culmination of this Metallica. Earlier today, I'm listening to One Hot Minute by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Pre-vinyl check. Probably should have checked that today since I dropped it. And it's a different Red Hot Chili Peppers. It didn't have time to grow and change. Well, there have been 3 distinct Metallicas. And, Death Magnetic, great record, poorly recorded. Hardwired to Self Destruct, pretty good record, missing a bit, missing Kirk. Here we have 72 seasons. James fully just opens it up, just drops it on the table. He's Marge Simpson with all the candy in her trench coat, opens it up, the candy falls out, and the family eats it. And that's where we are. And so we have this group, this deidal, I don't know the word, this godlike group of people finally admitting humanity, finally admitting foibles, finally admitting fallibility, and that they're not a wall, they are a group of humans, and feeling that pain, feeling those riffs, those drums. This is the Metallica we've always wanted, if you're me. And it's the Metallica I feel like we've always deserved. If you don't like this record, do you even like Metallica, bro?
That's a sticky wicket, because
No, it's not.
not just James's sticky wicket. I think there's a problem because we built these guys up to be such gods, because they're the most successful band ever, because they are the greatest heavy metal and rock band of all time. That's just a fact, no cap. Statistically,
Correct.
empirically, musically, everything. The problem is, because of that, they have to now live to that reputation forever, and there's just no way to maintain it, because if Led Zeppelin made a new album today, like Robert Plant said, it probably would be terrible, and we would have no self-awareness whether we were making it, if it was good or not, because everything we've ever done we think is good or great.
Yeah, I heard Walking into Clarksdale.
Oh, so I would say, like, to me, like, is every song on here great objectively? No. There are probably 3 great songs and a lot of good ones, and then there's a couple, again, I would kick off the island myself. I don't need them. They're part of the record. They're good. I enjoy them. Maybe a lot. I do think that a lot of this record, I've said to a few people, this record is probably going to be a shower as much as it is a grower. So the standout stuff is easy to go agog at. We've been.
I disagree. This is a grower.
Okay, I think most of it's a grower. Actually, most of it. That being said, if this is the last Metallica record, I'm fully satisfied with this.
Correct. If we get another one, if we don't, if this is it, okay. And I won't. It's not like, we talk about Kiss a lot, right? Is Monsters a satisfying final record?
Horrible.
It's fuck terrible.
Piece of crap.
Yeah, this is a great record. Like every Metallica record, it's got the A+, it's got the minors, and it's got the maybes. It's, Metallica's not a band that's ever really written a whole lot of great records start to finish, period. Now, if you want to do a rating for me, I'm going to call this an 8.5 out of 10. And being is the fact that they're nearly retirees, nearly on Social Security. I'm going to give them an extra point, call it a 9.5.
Oh, no, that's way too high. That's a whole point? No, sir, no.
Okay, fine, half point, 9.
Yo, no. I would say this. Honestly, this is an 8.
This is better than other records in their career when they were younger.
Yeah, that's not the way to look at this to me, but I guess you have to. No, this is not. I would say overall, this is an excellent record with great moments and a handful of great songs.
Agreed.
Not an A at all. This is a B record to me. Possibly higher if you are an obsessive Metallica person. Of course, it's the best thing you ever heard because you have no objectivity. I'm going to say that there are weak points to the record. I think that it's going to be hard for them to recreate some of this live, including James and Lars are going to struggle. James, by the way, has some of his highest notes ever on this record. They did not tune down for this record, right? So this is like, he's going to struggle over 2 years to play some of this live. Still, I'm grateful to have this record. I love the contributions from Kirk and Robert. Really got to contribute in a way neither of them have contributed much ever before in the same way. Kirk is very underrated, has really ascended to, he was already one of the greatest guitarists of all time, but now he's on some like Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck shit with his soloing that I had not heard in a long time. There's 2 shreddy guitar solos. If you miss the shreddy Kirk 1 solo, there's 2 of those on here that real with tapping and fireworks, not just a pentatonic box scale.
The thing about this album is we're looking at an end game record by a band that holds up, that's as good as much of what they've done.
I don't know about that. I would say, to me, just a recap, right? Like, we're not talking, we already graded the early stuff, and we did the whole Metallica history, boy. We really did. And it was very ambitious of us to do like 2 records an episode and stuff like that. It was wild. It was crazy. Ambitious. We learned our lesson, but I would say for me, just so you understand where I'm coming from, to me, Death Magnetic was an A and goes with their top best record, is right under the rung of the greatest S tier Metallica records of all time.
Give you
superior.
Giver.
Hardwired is a B, but it has
Okay.
more A songs than this record. This record is a B, but has like
Yeah, but
less
the thing
A
about
songs, but is better and more consistent the whole way
Hardwired
through.
has some stuff like Spit Out the Bone.
Well, Spit Out the Bone is one of the best Metallica songs ever, especially in this era of the
I
last
still don't
20.
agree.
You don't agree?
Maybe I'm thinking of Murder One.
No, Spit Out the Bone is the final song on the record and
Okay,
is
let's move on to
unbelievably
Murder
great.
One. Murder
Yeah,
One
Murder
is
One,
just
some of that stuff could be gone.
look,
Yeah, so
I
I
love
would
what they were
say
trying for, but it's still awful.
Hardwired has more songs I would get rid of than this album. Like I would get
Correct.
rid of
Correct.
3 or 4 songs of
But
both these
we're talking
records
about
should
a
have been,
band in their 40th
you know,
year, their
both these
fifth
songs,
decade.
both these albums should have been 8 or 9 songs max, not 12. But
Okay,
okay.
that's great. I get that. We're talking about a band in their fifth decade,
Yeah.
a
To make a
metal
B
band.
record. Yeah.
With it, we never would have guessed in 1986 that a metal band could have gone 5 years.
Yeah. The
5.
Overkill record that came out yesterday is probably the record a lot of people are really looking for, and is they don't have the songs. They don't have the lasting, memorable songs that Metallica has, but Overkill in
Correct.
terms of technical proficiency and
Better.
talent, way better. It's
Yeah,
an absolute A. Probably
Hey,
going to be the
there's
thrash metal record of the year.
look, you can coach or you can play.
Hey,
Metallica coaches better than Overkill plays.
that's fair. I think we said everything we had to say. Do we have anything else to say, sir?
I will say this much, that if you legitimately don't like this record, I question if you even like Metallica. That's it. I'm done.
Well, a lot of people hate them. Like, let's also talk about the popularity paradox in that people straight up hate their guts now, or they're not what they used to be, so they hate them. Tell me a band that is still doing what they did in 1980 whatever as good.
I think I sent this to you. Metallica fans in 1999 or 1988. I love that Metallica grows and changes. Metallica fans in 2022. I hate that Metallica has changed.
The problem is money. The problem is success. If Metallica never still made the Black Album and never sold millions, as we said before, Metallica, the Black Album sells 6 million albums a week, brand new to new fans. No other band has that. No band. Dark Side of the Moon has been on the charts more weeks than any record in recorded history since Billboard started keeping a chart 100 years ago. And they don't have that growth. They just have the fact that people are still listening to it, but they don't have new people becoming Pink Floyd fans at the clip Metallica does. Only pop stars do, and pop stars have a whole different paradigm. So, like, the fact that they got successful is the problem with Metallica, not Metallica being none of these things. Even Lulu and Saint Anger have nothing to do with money. Correct. They just Metallica's living down their fame and living down their bank balances.
The Black Album was a ticket to ride. Now they can do whatever they want, and sometimes people are happy, like Death Magnetic and Hardwired.
I mean, if I could only get I gotta double check and see if I have Death Magnetic. If I have it on vinyl, I haven't. Maybe I never even opened it or listened to it. I gotta see, because like now I gotta unbox. I gotta open that Pandora's box for myself, because
if you don't listen, if you don't have it on vinyl, and everyone listening should do the same thing. Listen to the Guitar Hero mixes of Death Magnetic.
I'll do that right now.
Because if you listen to those, you will hear what I hear on the vinyl. Because it's different.
This show is almost 2 hours long. Nick, take us home.
My God, we have talked way too long. Hopefully you are digging this, because I want to go for another hour and a half, but dinner is making me hungry. Thank you very much for listening. If you could take 2 seconds, finger fudge the like button, and subscribe either on Spotify, iTunes, or YouTube. That would be awesome sauce, and you'd be great. You would be better at listening to podcasts than Tommy Lee is at drumming live. So thank you very much, Keefy, for joining me weekly, daily, and for the 1,800 text messages I'm going to get later while I'm watching arena football on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for being my friend, for being a part of this, for accepting this ridiculous idea that I put forth to you back in 2021. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This is the Glacially Musical Pouredcast. It doesn't play in Peoria.